Could the Toronto Maple Leafs be on the verge of reuniting with a familiar face? Rumors are swirling after a surprising move from St. Louis, as a former 20-goal scorer is now available on waivers. What does this mean for our lineup and playoff aspirations? Stay tuned, because we're diving deep into how this potential addition could change the game for the Leafs. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to stay updated with all things Toronto Maple Leafs. Elliotte Friedman just dropped some intriguing news about the Maple Leafs that has us all buzzing. Kasperi Kapanen, the former 20-goal scorer for Toronto, has hit the waiver wire after struggling with the St. Louis Blues. This opens up a potential reunion that could add some much-needed depth to our lineup. Now, I know many of you might be wondering, is Kapanen really the answer? He's had a tough season, only managing 1 goal in 10 games with the Blues, and it's clear they're not planning to keep him around. But let's not forget his history here in Toronto. Drafted by the Penguins back in 2014, he became part of the Phil Kessel trade that sent him to us. In his time with the Leafs, he found his stride, netting 20 goals in the 2018-19 season and proving he could be a reliable contributor with a total of 41 goals and 49 assists in 209 games. Now, since leaving Toronto, Kapanen hasn't been able to replicate that success. His stint back in Pittsburgh was underwhelming, and then he moved to St. Louis, where he struggled to find his footing. But here's the thing. He's still got that potential, and he can bring experience to our roster. He might not be lighting the lamp like he used to, but he's got the size and hockey IQ to make a difference. So, how could Kapanen fit back into the Leafs lineup? The way I see it, he can't be worse than what we've seen from some of our other players lately. He's currently tied with Nick Robertson for goals this season, but Kapanen brings a veteran presence that the team desperately needs. He stands at 6 feet 1 inch, and while he may not be the most physical player out there, he's smart with the puck and minimizes mistakes. Imagine Kapanen slotting in on our 3rd or 4th line. If the coaching staff wants to spark something with Max Domi, pairing those two could be an interesting experiment. We're not asking Kapanen to score 40 goals. We need him to provide consistency and reliability. I'm talking about 10 to 15 goals this season, 30 to 35 points, and solid two-way play. That's what we need to at least be competitive in the playoffs. And let's not overlook the financial aspect. With a contract worth just $1 million, he's not going to break the bank. If the Leafs decide to place Kaye Jarnkrok on LTIR or move Matt Benning in a trade, bringing Kapanen back could be a smart, cost-effective move. Picture this, Kapanen returning to Toronto as a key piece in a successful trade and stepping up as the veteran leader we've been missing. It could be the kind of story that resonates with fans and players alike, especially if he ends up helping us chase the Stanley Cup this season. But here's the real question. Do you believe this is the best decision for the Leafs? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, it feels like a familiar name that could bring back some good memories, but will he be able to deliver in the high-pressure environment of Toronto? I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about potentially bringing Kapanen back? Is he the boost we need, or should we be looking elsewhere? I genuinely want to know your expectations and frustrations regarding this situation. Let's get the conversation going down in the comments. Sad technical news confirm update. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been making headlines lately, but not for the reasons we'd all hope. Auston Matthews, our superstar captain, remains sidelined, and it's raising some eyebrows. Head coach Craig Berube provided an update that has fans feeling a mix of concern and cautious optimism. Since November 3rd, after a tight game against the Minnesota Wild, where he managed to notch an assist, Matthews has been out of action. It's been almost 3 weeks now, and we're all wondering when we'll see him back on the ice. Matthews is dealing with an upper body injury, which, according to Berube, is the same one that kept him out for much of preseason. The exact nature of the injury hasn't been disclosed, but it's been made clear that it's not related to his previous wrist issues. This situation is a delicate balancing act for the Leafs management. They're being extremely cautious with a player of Matthews' caliber, especially considering he's a 3-time Rocket Richard Trophy winner. It's smart to take their time. After all, we want him at his best when the playoffs roll around. Now, the initial prognosis had us believing this was just a day-to-day situation. However, it's been confirmed that he won't be playing against the Vegas Golden Knights this Wednesday, extending his absence even further. But there's a glimmer of hope. He might return for the game against the Utah Hockey Club on Sunday. But here's where I find myself a bit torn. On one hand, we all want Matthews back on the ice. On the other, we want him healthy and ready to go for the long haul. You believe that was the best decision? I'm honestly on the fence about it. What's been surprising is how well the Leafs have managed without him. They've played 6 games since Matthews went down, and they've only lost once. 5 wins out of 6? That's impressive, and it's raised their overall record to 40-20-2 without him. It's a testament to the depth of this team, and let's not ignore the standout performances we've seen. Mitch Marner, in particular, has stepped up in Matthews' absence, racking up 4 goals and a staggering 10 points. This is a contract year for Marner, and he's showing he can lead this team when needed. Let's talk about that thrilling victory against the Edmonton Oilers. Marner's defensive play, combined with his offensive burst, demonstrated just how crucial he's become. He thwarted a 2-on-1 opportunity with Draisaitl and McDavid, then took the puck the other way and scored the game winner. That's the kind of play that can define a season, and it shows that even when we're missing our star, others are ready to rise to the occasion. But here's where my emotions come into play. As passionate fans, we're invested not just in the wins and losses, but in the story of this team. The way the organization is handling Matthews' injury could set the tone for our playoff hopes. If we rush him back too soon and it leads to further complications, it could derail everything we've built this season. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on how the Leafs are managing this situation? Are you in favor of taking it slow, or do you think we should push for a quicker return? Share your expectations and frustrations down in the comments. Every decision counts, especially as we gear up for the postseason. The way this team has adapted in Matthews' absence gives me hope that we can weather this storm. It's a testament to the resilience and depth of the roster, but let's be honest, no one replaces Matthews. His presence on ice changes everything, and we all feel the difference. So, as we continue this journey through the season, let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with fellow Leaf fans, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates. And make sure you activate that notification bell so you won't miss any news as we follow this roller coaster of a season. We're all in this together, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts.